This particular video will break down the 5 most significant moments of his visit and explain why his appearance marks a very pivotal moment, not just to Burkina Faso people and to Burkina Faso as a country, but also to Africa's global standing. All right. Good day, my name is Angelo and this is Channel Up, where we give you updates on lots of trending issues, including African politics. Now, President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso traveled to Russia to attend a very, very significant event. Of course, the Victory Day celebration, the 80th anniversary of Russia's Victory Day celebrations. All right. Now, there are 5 things I feel I noticed or we noticed from his journey to Russia. All right. And the activities in Russia. These 5 things are going to be the bone of contention in this video today. So if you don't know, these 5 things are very, very interesting, and I would urge you, pull a seat and sit back and listen and watch me unravel the 5 most significant mysteries that Ibrahim Traore encountered in Russia. Now, I call this the geopolitical significance of his visit to Moscow. All right, and this is what I would call these 5 occurrences. Okay, now listen, don't get it twisted. Okay, on the 9th of May 2025, Captain Ibrahim Traore, the transitional president of Burkina Faso, arrived in Moscow to participate in the 80th anniversary of Russia's Victory Day celebrations. This visit was more than a diplomatic trip. I tell you, it was a deliberate and calculated geopolitical statement, if I would call it that way. From the moment his plane touched down to his interactions with world leaders, every step, gesture, and decision sent a very clear message about a shifting global order. The emergence of new alliances and the bold posture of a young African leader reshaping international perceptions. This particular video will break down the 5 most significant moments of his visit and explain why his appearance marks a very pivotal moment, not just to Burkina Faso people and to Burkina Faso as a country, but also to Africa's global standing. All right, the first notable point here is his arrival. The arrival of Captain Ibrahim Traore was quite remarkable. Now listen, unlike most African leaders who arrive usually in personal jets or through regular diplomatic channels, Captain Ibrahim Traore landed in Moscow aboard a special aircraft dispatched directly by the Russian government. Now, this was not a matter of convenience or hospitality. It was a strong political message to all of the world. By using its own state aircraft during a time of high global tension, Russia was in a way signaling that Traore is not just a guest, but a strategic ally. This level of reception, usually reserved for heads of major powers, emphasized the depth of cooperation and trust between Russia and Burkina Faso over time. The flight symbolized more than transportation. It went further to represent alignment, endorsement, and a very vast display of mutual interest in resisting Western dominance, particularly that of France, NATO, and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. All right, that is that. That's the first point. The second point is his outfit, his regalia. He came in military camouflage, and he chose military camouflage over a diplomatic attire, though it seemed like a diplomatic visit. But I will tell you what, you will know what this visit was for. While other leaders showed up in suits and formal wear, Captain Ibrahim Traore appeared in full military camouflage. This wasn't for aesthetic reasons, trust me. The outfit was a message. He did not come to project comfort or submission. He came rather to represent resistance, readiness, and militancy. I tell you, the uniform communicated a continuing commitment to a kind of revolutionary ideals, and particularly for his supporters back in Burkina Faso. It was a visual reinforcement that Traore remains grounded in the struggle that brought him to power. He is not transitioning into a ceremonial figure. This was a deliberate contrast to the often polished and detached image of traditional leadership, especially those that come from the area where he emerges from. All right, that is just that. That is the second point, and I will ask you to brace up for the third point: the weapon. Yes, there was a visible sidearm by his side during that global event. Two out. You are surprised, right? Now let me tell you something you don't know. In an extraordinary break from protocol, Captain Traore wore a visible sidearm in a holster throughout the event. No other world leader at the Victory Day ceremony did the same thing. The message was twofold, in two ways. Personal security is a matter of self-responsibility to this man, and leadership comes with constant vigilance. He cannot play and snooze on that. After surviving 18 coup attempts in 2 years, the decision to carry a weapon openly was not kind of theatrical, okay? It was very strategic. It told the world that Burkina Faso's leader doesn't rely entirely on foreign protection or ceremony. He is willing to defend himself and his position personally, a stand that resonated strongly among many African youths who see him as a symbol of a kind of authenticity and a vast symbol of courage. All right, trust me, that is what he represents for lots of youths in Africa. Yeah, another point is the attention he got. Yes, Traore has become a kind of focal point of the whole of the whole world. Yes, a global focal point, if I will say so. Throughout the Victory Day proceedings, media attention repeatedly shifted towards Ibrahim Traore. Cameras highlighted his presence, his attire, and his interactions. Okay, Kremlin officials, that's Russian officials, personally escorted him, and his entourage in official broadcast suggested that his presence was of particular interest. His countenance was calm, assertive, and highly composed. The level of curiosity and attention he received from diplomats and journalists alike reflected a growing recognition that something new was happening. An African leader was being treated as a geopolitical equal. That's like one of his kind. It was clear that he wasn't merely invited to observe. He was a kind of participant, a guest of honor, and a representative of Africa's evolving stance in world politics. I tell you, his emergence or his presence in Russia was not just invitational, let me call it like that. It was more of a kind of allegiance, let me say so. Now, the fifth point is the banquet, the whole thing that was set for him. A seat at the global power table. I will tell you why I call it the global power table. One of the most significant events during Ibrahim Traore's visit was his participation in a high-level Kremlin dinner, a high-level Russian dinner. He was seated alongside Chinese President Xi Jinping and Brazilian President Lula da Silva, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, and others. Okay, now Traore was part of a conversation shaping the future of global alignment. This dinner wasn't just symbolic, it was very strategic. The presence of such figures in one room showed a kind of quiet but powerful shift towards multipolarity, okay? And Traore's inclusion signified Africa's role in this shift. His interactions with leaders such as Guinea-Bissau's President Umaru Sissoco Embalo, Zimbabwe's President Mnangagwa, and Egypt's President El Sisi, and Equatorial Guinea's President Obiang also highlighted a growing intra-African dialogue on sovereignty, trust me, security also, and self-determination. So I tell you what, his presence in that table was not just as Ibrahim Traore, but I tell you the truth, he represented Africa in that table, and it was very, very significant. Now, in conclusion, Captain Ibrahim Traore's visit to Moscow was not just an international appearance. It was a declaration of intent. His decisions, actions, and symbolic gestures throughout the event reveal a kind of broader shift in African leadership. Now, Captain Ibrahim Traore represents a break from the past. He is not seeking approval from Western powers, nor is he conforming to traditional diplomatic norms. His approach is a kind of confrontational, independent, and grounded in the realities of post-colonial struggle. He is 36 years old, don't forget. He carries a weapon and sits at the same table as global power players. Okay, now that alone challenges the traditional image of African leadership. Now, in my own view, in my own opinion, okay, Captain Ibrahim Traore's trip to Moscow marked a turning point. It demonstrated that African states can define their own geopolitical priorities and align based on shared values, not imposed hierarchies. In quote. His presence beside world leaders, his reception by Vladimir Putin, and his public display of strength reflected a continent that was ready to assert itself on the global stage. I tell you what. Now, Traore did not just attend the celebration. He sent a message to his enemies, to the economic community of West African states, and to NATO, and also to the world. Africa is not a passive observer in global affairs. It is an actor, and leaders like him intend to make that clear. And that is just one bold move at a time by Captain Ibrahim Traore. Thank you so much for staying this far. If you enjoyed our updates and if you always enjoy what we do here, please like our videos, share them. Don't forget to drop comments for us in the comment section. If you're watching me for the first time, come on, tap the notification bell and then tap the subscribe button so that you will get used to watching me firsthand when I drop a new update. See you next time and bye.